You sit down to start something important. 5 minutes later, you're scrolling. Not because you don't care, not because you're irresponsible, but because your mind feels scattered. You tell yourself you're lazy. You promise to try harder tomorrow. But what if the problem isn't effort? What if your brain is simply overloaded? And what if laziness is just the symptom of something deeper? Problem Deep Dive. From the outside, it looks like procrastination. Unfinished tasks, half-read books, tabs still open from 3 days ago. You wake up with intentions, but by midday, your focus feels fractured. A notification pulls you away. A thought interrupts you. A sudden urge to check something quickly. And somehow, an hour disappears. You try to return to the task, but now it feels heavier. Not difficult, just resistant. Even leisure doesn't feel restorative. You watch something while checking your phone. You listen to a podcast while replying to messages. Your mind never lands fully anywhere. And slowly, a narrative forms. I have no discipline. I can't concentrate. Other people can handle this. Why can't I? This isn't just about productivity. It starts affecting identity. You hesitate to commit to long-term goals. You doubt your potential. You lower your expectations of yourself. But here's what's rarely discussed. Your behavior doesn't resemble laziness. It resembles overstimulation. And those are not the same thing. So what's actually happening inside your brain? Reframe. Laziness implies a lack of willingness, but you are willing. You want to focus. You want to build. You want to feel clear again. The issue isn't desire, it's capacity. Your brain evolved in environments with limited input, short bursts of threat, long stretches of calm. Now it lives in a constant stream. Information, alerts, choices, entertainment, comparison. Your nervous system interprets novelty as significance, and modern life is engineered to be novel. So your brain adapts. It scans more. It shifts attention faster. It becomes hyper-responsive, not because you're broken, but because it's doing what it was designed to do. The problem is, this adaptation comes with a cost, and that cost shows up as laziness. But it isn't laziness, it's cognitive saturation. And saturation changes how your brain allocates energy. To understand why, you need to see how attention really works. Psychological mechanism. Your brain runs on limited metabolic fuel. The prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for focus, planning, and impulse control, is especially energy expensive. It tires quickly. Every notification triggers a small dopamine response. Dopamine isn't just pleasure, it's anticipation. It tells your brain, this might matter. So your attention shifts. Each shift has a switching cost. Cognitive science shows that task switching reduces efficiency and increases mental fatigue. You don't feel it immediately, but it accumulates. Imagine your attention as a spotlight. In a quiet room, the beam is steady. In a room full of flashing lights, the spotlight keeps jerking toward movement. Not because the operator is careless, but because the system is wired to detect change. Now add constant digital stimuli. Your brain becomes conditioned to expect novelty every few seconds. This recalibrates your baseline stimulation level. Simple tasks, reading, studying, thinking, can't compete. They feel flat. Not because they lack value, but because your dopamine threshold has shifted upward. Meanwhile, your brain's threat network, including the amygdala, stays mildly activated. Not from danger, from constant micro-alerts, emails, news, social updates. Chronic low-level activation increases cortisol. Cortisol prioritizes short-term reaction over deep thinking, so the prefrontal cortex gets less effective. Motivation drops, impulse control weakens, avoidance increases, and you interpret the result as laziness. But the deeper truth is this: you're not undermotivated, you're overstimulated. And an overstimulated brain defaults to quick rewards, because quick rewards cost less energy. So how do you reset a system that's been trained to crave intensity? Practical framework. This isn't about deleting everything and living in a cabin. It's about recalibrating your nervous system, gradually, intentionally. Step 1. Create friction around fast dopamine. What to do? Add small barriers to instant stimulation. Move distracting apps off your home screen. Log out after using them. Keep your phone in another room while working. Why it works? Behavioral psychology shows that friction reduces impulsive habits. When access becomes slightly harder, the reward loop weakens. Dopamine spikes become less frequent. Your baseline begins to stabilize. Real-life example. You sit down to work. Your phone is in another room. The urge appears, but the effort required interrupts the impulse. That interruption strengthens prefrontal control over time. But reducing stimulation isn't enough. You also need to retrain attention itself. Step 2. Practice single-channel focus. What to do? Choose one activity daily and do it without parallel input. No background videos, no music with lyrics, no multitasking. Why it works? Sustained attention strengthens neural pathways in the prefrontal cortex. Neuroplasticity follows repetition. The more you practice single tasking, the easier deep focus becomes. Real-life example. You drink coffee in silence. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your mind searches for stimulation. That discomfort is withdrawal from novelty. Stay with it. Your attention span slowly expands. But there's still another layer. Overstimulation also disrupts rest. Step 3. Protect low stimulation recovery. What to do? Schedule daily periods of intentional boredom. 5 to 15 minutes. No phone, no input, just walking or just sitting. Why it works? The brain's default mode network activates during idle states. This network integrates information and reduces stress activation. Without idle time, recovery never completes. Real-life example. You walk without headphones. Thoughts surface, then settle. Your nervous system shifts from alert mode to baseline, and baseline is where motivation rebuilds. But there's still another layer. Overstimulation also disrupts rest. Step 4. Close micro-open loops. What to do? Write down unfinished tasks before starting deep work. Not to complete them, just to externalize them. Why it works? The Zeigarnik effect shows that unfinished tasks occupy mental bandwidth. By writing them down, you signal safety to the brain. Working memory frees up. Real-life example. You list 3 pending emails. Now your brain doesn't need to keep reminding you. Attention stabilizes, and focus becomes lighter, not forced, natural. Integration. Here's the model to remember. Your brain is not a muscle that failed. It's a system that adapted. Think of it like a radio. If the volume has been turned up for too long, silence feels uncomfortable. But the solution isn't yelling louder. It's turning the dial back slowly. Stimulation down, attention up, recovery protected. When intensity decreases, clarity returns on its own. Not because you pushed harder, but because you removed interference. You were never lazy. You were flooded. And flooded systems don't perform. They protect. Quiet, empowering close. If you've been calling yourself lazy, pause.
Look closer. Are you unwilling, or are you overstimulated? Your brain isn't defective, it's exhausted from constant novelty. Give it fewer flashes, fewer interruptions, more quiet depth, and watch what happens. Energy returns, focus steadies, confidence rebuilds, not dramatically, but gradually. And one day, you'll sit down to work and realize you were never lazy at all. You were just living in noise.